Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin had a telephone conversation and they talked about whole gamut of bilateral issues. India also happens to be the SCO chair and G20. So regarding that event also Russian President gave him all the support. But the crucial part of was clearly the 24 June of event that happened in Russia that was kind of rattling the whole Russian state. President Putin was probably facing first crisis in his over 2 decades of rule in Russia when this Wagner group led by Prigozhin started their armed rebellion and they started marching towards Moscow. However, within 24 hours after this mediation by Belarusian president, who is also a very good friend of President Putin, this Prigozhin and their whole cavalcade stopped just a few hundred kilometers short of Moscow, and now apparently they have gone back to Belarus, and the whole armed rebellion that was very much talked about as a fall of Russian Empire has died down. But even then, there are concerns among the Russian friends of Russia and partners and strategic allies like India that what all happened, what all transpired during those 24 and 48 hours in Russian capital and the countries across the country. During this conversation that Prime Minister Modi had with President Putin, those issues were also discussed as to what all happened. And President Putin also discussed how to deepen the bilateral relationship. India and Russia enjoys a special privileged strategic partnership, and in that context, India has been pretty much dependent on Russian arms supplies and armory. About 50% of our Indian Army's hardware is supplied from Russia, be it naval assets or air force or the army. Every 3 of Indian Army's wings are pretty much dependent on Russian supplies. Also, India has been a very robust energy partner of Russia. In the recent weeks, we have seen about 40% or more than 40% of crude supplies or the crude requirement of India is being supplied from Russia. Still, in the wake of global or especially US and European Union led sanction that has come to Russia. So in that sense, India has been able to give some sort of cushion to the Russian economy by being one of the largest buyer of Russian crude when the world was not buying because of the American and EU sanctions. So clearly, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has also in the past reiterated that India-Russia ties have been very steady and very permanent, and they look forward to having a robust relationship moving onwards also. But whatever has happened in the last 1 week was duly conveyed to Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Modi also discussed with Russian President his US visit and his talks. What all did he discuss with President Putin about his US talks has not been made public, but the mention of that talk was pretty much in Kremlin's website press release that detailed the talk between the two leaders. President Putin has been engaging with so many other allies also. He has had a talk with Russia, with Iranian president also, with UAE counterpart also he has engaged in the recent past, and it has all happened after this 24 June of event. And after that, Russian president and his senior cabinet colleagues have also been reaching out to other nations, talking about the security issues of Russia and discussing other regional and global cooperation.